And developing tonight, President Obama getting candid about how an Obama-Trump White House race would have shaken out. In an interview with longtime advisor and friend David Axelrod, the president says if he had been able to run for a third term, his message of unity would have prevailed.
I'm confident that if I had run again and articulated it, I think I could have mobilized a majority of the American people to rally behind it. I know that in conversations that I've had with people around the country, even some people who disagreed with me, they would say the vision, the direction that you point towards is the right one.
I'm joined now by Karl Rove, former Deputy Chief of Staff under President George W. Bush and Fox News political contributor, and back with us, Julie Roginsky, a Democratic strategist and Fox News contributor and all-around team player. Good to see you guys.
Great to see you.
Karl Rove, I'll start with you first. President Obama says he would have won if he ran against Trump. Well, first of all, would that have happened?
Well, we don't know. Look, that's conjecture. First of all, it's a comment on how lousy he thought Hillary Clinton was. He could have beaten Trump, but she couldn't. But here's the other thing. He said everybody he talks to, including people who disagree with him, tell him you're going in the right direction. Well, in the 2012 exit polls, 46% said they thought the country was going in the right direction. This year, 33% said they thought the country was going in the right direction. People who thought it was off on the wrong track, in 2012, 52%. This year, 62%. So, look, we will never know because the Constitution forbids him from running for a third term. But it's just conjecture. But the dynamic this year was intensely less positive than it was in 2012 when he eked out a just over 3% victory.
And it makes you remember all those things he said out on the campaign trail when he and the First Lady were campaigning for Hillary Clinton. She is the most qualified candidate to beat Donald Trump. Well, he's kind of saying the opposite here, right, Julie?
Well, first of all, I don't know if you could see me do an eye roll all the way from here, but who cares? I mean, as Karl pointed out, this is a complete hypothetical. Karl is right. It was more of a statement, I think, about her candidacy than it was about anything else. Look, if you look at his numbers, he's at 54% on average approvals. Trump is at 44%. Trump is actually upside down with his approval-disapproval. So, you know, and that's
okay. But Julie, let me challenge you with some of the numbers here because he hasn't helped out his party very much. Democrats lost over 1,000 seats under Obama. I'll give you the grand total. We're looking at a net loss of 1,042 state and federal Democratic posts, including congressional and state legislative seats, governorships, and the presidency. How do you explain that? Yeah,
it's been a total disaster on the state level and also on the federal level, but he's talking purely about himself, and he's not talking about anybody else. Could he, Barack Obama, have beaten Donald Trump? And I think he believes the answer is yes. I have no idea whether he would or not have. I think it's, as Karl pointed out, largely irrelevant because we have a Constitution that prevents it. If you're talking about the numbers that under the Obama administration have happened to the Democrats, you're absolutely right. The Democrats have had a shellacking time and time again during the administration. It doesn't mean that Barack Obama, with his approval ratings, would have not beaten Donald Trump with his approval ratings. And Karl is right. It was basically a judgment more on Hillary Clinton's campaign than on anything else.
I mean, Karl, this is a lot of admissions and concessions on Julie's part. We don't hear that very often.
Well, you know, we don't. And frankly, she's conceding to things that I haven't said. I don't think this was entirely on the grounds of Hillary Clinton being a lousy candidate. That's true, but only 28% of the voters wanted a president who would continue Barack Obama's policies. 48% wanted a new president who would move in an explicitly conservative direction in the exit polls. I'd make two other quick points. President Obama hit the campaign trail like we have not seen in probably 50 or 60 years an outgoing chief executive campaign for his successor. And his campaign stops are a roadmap to Democratic defeat. Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan. You know, most of the places he went were most of the places where the Democrats came up short. And the final point I'd make is this. Julie is right. It's been a disaster for the Democrats. So what did he say in the podcast with David Axelrod? His priority at his nonprofit, nonpartisan, tax-deductible presidential center is, quote, to help young leaders become organizers, journalists, and politicians by giving them the tools for progressive change. Now, that's got to cheer the Republicans, because that means he's going to keep doing what he's been doing, but it might also upset the IRS because it's in violation of the law to use a nonprofit presidential center to do that kind of stuff.
We've got to leave it there, but it's nice to see you two be so nice to each other. But remember what's on the line here, because on his many campaign appearances in September, Obama declared that his legacy's on the ballot. So he's trying to step in and shore up something. Great to have both of you here. Good to see you both.
Good to see you.
Carl, Julie,
Thank
thank you.